Welcome to Manic Ramblings and Sober Thoughts, a podcast about men's mental health told through the eyes of a bipolar alcoholic in recovery. I'm Zachary Rose and I'll be your host. In a world where nearly 80% of suicides are men, millions are silently fighting battles nobody sees. Too many men are struggling with depression, trauma, addiction, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and loneliness completely alone. Many go undiagnosed for years because they were taught to stay quiet, suck it up, and keep moving no matter how bad things get. This podcast is for the men trying to survive their own minds, the ones drowning in racing thoughts, the ones self-medicating to quiet the chaos, the ones carrying trauma they never learned how to process, the fathers trying to break cycles, the husbands trying to become better men, the men who feel completely alone, even in a crowded room. This is not therapy. This is not polished. This is honesty. The manic thoughts, the sober reflections, the guilt, the anger, the addiction, the healing, the rebuilding, one conversation at a time. If you're struggling, you're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. Welcome to Manic Ramblings and Sober Thoughts. Hello everybody, welcome to Manic Ramblings and Sober Thoughts. I'm Zachary, and alongside me I have my beautiful wife, Maddie.
Hi guys.
Today we're just going to kind of have some back and forth banter and going to do a little bit of talking about life and I guess what it's like to live with a crazy person.
I wouldn't say you're crazy. You just do some crazy things sometimes.
I'm just a little neurospicy. So, I guess if we're going to get into all the good stuff, bad stuff, whatever you call it, probably go back October. I would say everything kind of started around Colorado trip. I mean, it started before then, but like the anger.
I mean, we can rewind it from, the beginning of our relationship, kind of that, and then what kind of has sparked this bipolar diagnosis,
Yeah, we could do that. So, I guess just how do we meet? I guess is probably the best thing, like you sought me out, so I think you should lead this story.
Well, I was young, and good old Snapchat, being bored one night, I had just gotten out of a relationship that was
Toxic.
it was me, trying to find space away from home, and anyways, point being this was back when Snapchat had best friends, and I happened to have someone on my Snapchat who was best friends with you. And I saw that name. I knew who you were. I didn't really know much about you other than, oh, well, I'm bored. Let's add him and see what happens.
Yeah, and I definitely thought you were somebody else. I can't remember what I said. Did I just say hi, and then you said hi back? And then I was like, who are you? And I thought you were somebody else completely. It was kind of funny.
But yeah, I just added you, and you added me back, and once you realized I was not who you thought I was, we just kind of sparked up conversation, and you were, I don't know, I mean,
interested.
You were definitely interested. But we talked for a little bit, and then you were on a trip in Houston.
That was my consultation for my surgery.
Yeah.
Because Dad and I went to Houston, and we went and stayed with one of my buddies' family there. And we were talking and whatnot, and we were eating barbecue. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. We were eating barbecue, and I was glued to my phone. Like we were texting and Snapchatting so much back and forth. And Dad's like, "Who are you talking to? Why are you all smiley?" And I said, "Oh, it's just a girl." And then I was like, "Hey, by the way, we're gonna go to the movies tomorrow. The movies start at 7. My consultation's at this time. We're gonna have to go back. I'm driving." That was a very fast drive home. I was hauling some ass getting home.
Yeah, and you barely made it to the house to get us to the movies on time.
And I barely made it home from the movies because I was broke.
But yeah, the first time
How was that movie, Maddie?
hey, we won't get into that now. But no, first time I had actually been real life in person with you, knowing who you were, meeting up was when you drove all the way back from Houston in
That was
a much shorter time span than you should have been.
Yeah. That was
you were picking me up to go to the movies.
That was kind of awkward too. I wasn't expecting a family reunion going on at your house when I pulled up.
I'm not even sure what was happening, but yeah, we had a lot of family over at our house, and
I think that's kind of a natural thing. Like, you guys always had a bunch of family over at the house, it seemed like, on the weekends.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on the weekends, everybody'd be over. We'd hang out, relax. Yeah, my family liked to get together. And yeah, I think my brother may have met you at the door.
I think so.
With a shotgun.
I believe so, which wasn't, especially like knowing Xander now, I don't know if it was a threat technique or if he just saw like a pigeon in the tree or something. You know?
Who knows what it was?
But
yeah, and you walked in the door and like we hadn't ever actually
like
met up or hung out. Like we talked over the phone, but
but like in person. And it was so like I wasn't expecting that many people there, so
I should have warned you, but I definitely didn't.
So I walked in, and of course it was like all these people here. I was like, "Oh," and like grabbed her hand, like, and then after that, like, I don't know, it was just so comforting. Like I've already found like so much comfort in you, you know?
Right, and I feel like from that moment forward, like it was always this. I'm comfortable around you. I don't have to put up a front. It was just like everything just seemed to go so easy.
Yes.
Especially compared to, I mean, I'm an uncomfortable person. Some would describe me as awkward. So yeah, like I've just always been that way.
No.
But with you, it was never a I feel out of place. I feel discomfort. Like it was an immediate connection, I guess.
Yeah, and then we're driving to Dodge to go to the movie, and I go in for the first smooch, and I damn near go head on with this.
Yeah, I don't know what you were doing there. Definitely were not keeping your eyes on the road.
I got a little excited. Yeah, you're sitting right next to me. How could I keep the eyes on the road? I had this cute thing to sit next to me.
I don't even know how, but like, yeah, I wasn't on the other, you were in your pickup, and instead of sitting on both sides, I was sitting in the middle.
Because remember, my middle console didn't fold down. It was always stuck up.
Well, I know, but like, for some reason, I'd always sit in the middle.
Because you wanted to be close to me, I guess.
Oh, that's weird.
You just slid in, and you just like slid it right on over. I wasn't complaining. I enjoyed it.
You probably asked me to. I don't know why I would just immediately do that.
Oh, I don't know.
It was just a thing, I guess.
That was a long time ago. I can't remember. But yeah, and then went to the movies and may or may not have watched the movie. We were there, though. We were there. And then went out to Wendy's. I spent my last couple dollars. I ended up like happened to go to my parents' house because I didn't have enough money to put gas in the pickup, and I forgot my fuel card at home.
And I was just an oblivious teenager.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I didn't care that. I didn't care. I wanted to go out on a date with you, and I enjoyed it, and I had fun. I had so much fun that I invited her out to breakfast the next day at a place where my mom works.
Yeah. Hey, you want to go meet my mom? Yeah, sure, I guess.
Hey, I knew you were the one.
And then you made me look. Oh, of course. Just had our first date, take me out to eat breakfast the next morning, and you ordered this little rinky-dink tiny breakfast sandwich.
Okay,
and you're like, hey, you should get the omelet. It's really good. It just covers my whole plate. So then I was embarrassed that I had all this food, and here you were just with this tiny little sandwich.
In my defense, though, that is a sandwich that I order every single time. Like, it was a good sandwich. Put some Louisiana hot sauce on that. And then, yeah, after that, like, dude, we were inseparable. Like, we literally talked every single day.
Yeah. And it was a huge switch up, I guess, from what I knew were relationships. I mean, obviously, I was a whopping, 15 years old?
Yeah.
Which is so terrible to say. Yeah, I was 15. I didn't really know much about relationships, but I knew that the one that I was previously in was, oh, here, I'll call you when I want something from you. And then you wanted to be around me, and I felt like you cared for me, and you wanted to spend time with me. In the daylight too. Like, it wasn't just a...
Oh no, I was showing you off to the world.
Right. And it wasn't something that I had to necessarily hide and be secretive about.
Oh, there was no secretive with me. You were my woman crush Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I was your man candy Monday. And
we were so cringy.
Well, and like, everything just felt so right. It's like we knew each other forever. And like, we were definitely the ones that said, I love you fast. And like,
you love bombed me hardcore, but I loved it. Like, I didn't like it.
You said it quicker than like most people would. Like, by the time like it was like one of those things, like, yeah, I am in love with you. Like, I feel like it was pretty quick.
It definitely was quick.
You got shit on for tweeting. What is it? The Fault in Our Stars? One of the lines. And like, someone like, what is it called? Subtweeting or whatever it was back then.
Oh yeah, you say it without actually.
You say it, but without saying it.
Right, or like, you full on say it, but you don't tag the person, so who knows who you're really talking about? But everyone knew.
Yeah, but I guess when you know, you know. And then, what that was 2014. 2 years later, had our first kid on the way. Good old Iris. And yeah, I would say that's kind of around the time more stuff started rearing its head, like with the bipolar, the good, the bad, the...
I definitely think there was red flags in the beginning. And, those red flags that everyone tells you to watch out and beware of in toxic relationships. Which is, I don't know. I feel like that's still kind of touchy in the air type stuff. Because, like, especially with you being diagnosed bipolar, like, it's not that you're intentionally trying to be hurtful and attacking.
My brain just works different.
Right. And I think there was different coping mechanisms that you have learned as you've gotten older. And, in your childhood and all the things that you learned to survive. Like, I have empathy for you for that. And, like, I don't...
It was learned behavior, for sure.
Right. And then, yeah. And then, of course, you add in a chemical imbalance and, like...
Undiagnosed teaching undiagnosed type of thing from childhood.
Right. And, I don't know, like... You can sit here and everybody could have a perception on whether it was toxic bad behavior or whether it was untreated mental illness or
Well, that's a hard thing. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Because,
you didn't know. And I was a teenager that didn't know better. I just knew.
well, you were just a 27-year-old that didn't know better.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
and,
I mean, every day you live and you learn.
and I didn't know better. Like, I, I always knew something wasn't right. But, but, yeah. Something wasn't right in my head, but I just wasn't sure what it was. And then I feel like I coped of, oh, this probably sounds familiar. I coped by making it seem like I'm not the problem.
everybody
And
else
then
is.
like of course like I had abandonment issues and all other sorts of issues kind of piled up, and you know, I don't know the core to it. I know a lot more now within this last year, like, of why things, but like going back that far, it's hard to remember. And like, definitely like mania, it makes sense because I would get paid, we'd go spend a whole entire paycheck and not get shit to show for it. And spon- spontaneous, I'm doing air quotes, but spontaneous
Our
trips, and
spontaneous trips. That
they
was always a thing.
they were fun, but like we were go 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 go, and then like, but then also I would have those times where like I'm just like super depressed and down.
Yeah, well, and like I can even think of a few key points just in like the first few years of our relationship. Like I think maybe it was the second week, maybe even the first week after we were officially dating.
I think it was the second week.
It might have been. I don't know. It was very around the close.
Yeah, it was very close. I can't even remember what
Right.
happened.
Like I remember right after our first date, you're like, "Oh, let's go out for breakfast the next day." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And I thought it was cute that you wanted to like you didn't have enough of that first date. You wanted to be around me. And so like, "Hey, let's go out for breakfast."
And that hasn't
And then
changed. Like I still just want to be around you at all times. Like
right.
if I could shrink down to worm size and fit in your pocket, I'd be one happy guy.
But
Would you
then
still love me if I was a worm?
I would still love you if you were a worm. But like no, so then like the third date you're like, I gotta see you. Let me at least stop by after work and just see you for a little bit. So like we would go and sit out in your truck and just talk, kiss, whatever. And like we would just sit out in the driveway and be together. And then like, yeah, the second week of dating, one night you're like, I just really need to see you. And I was like, okay, like come over to the house and we can talk. And you were going on about something, how you were upset, but you didn't really elaborate on anything. And we literally sat in the driveway for 2 hours between you crying and just like you were a mess, we'll be honest. And you wouldn't talk to me. You wouldn't tell me anything that was going on. I just knew that something was bothering you. You were upset, which, come to find out, there was a big major life event happening for you, which, I mean, looking back at it now, I don't know, maybe it could trigger something and maybe simply just cause you to be upset. But you wouldn't say anything. You just sat there and cried, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
I was like,
I can't remember what it was, but evidently it was enough to really upset me,
right. And I just sat in the car and you laid your head on me and you cried, and I'm like, it's okay. But this was 2 weeks in. I was like, what on earth is happening?
You were my comfort.
Why not? And like that
you were home to me, and it was very chaotic elsewhere where I was at. So it was like a breath of fresh air,
Right. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I didn't know what to do except for just be there and
Hey, you were there.
hold you. And yeah, that's what I did, and we made it through that.
Side note, I'm on some medicine that gives me internal restlessness, and so if you hear me fidgeting, that's why. So there might be some bumping and whatnot. So apologies for that, ahead of time. But yeah.
Yeah. So then, flash forward a little bit. Um, Ended up, we got engaged, which was
A year. It was at a year.
right, and so that was before I got pregnant with Iris. But we were.
Did you hear that? It was before. It wasn't because.
But like you were so elevated, and we were so in love, and like whatever. Like we knew we were gonna spend the rest of our lives with each other, and so you got me a ring, whatever. And then fast forward a little bit, got pregnant with Iris, which of course, being 16 years old, got pregnant.
Not ideal.
Right, yeah. Not ideal. And feelings, emotions are elevated between everyone. There was a lot of tension. Especially
Rightfully so.
yeah, rightfully so with my family. And so I think all of us were very stressed out, which could be a very triggering thing looking back at it now. But once again, there were a few times now that, I mean, looking back at it, that like, what were you doing? And I mean, I was in my own world of stressfulness, being a teenager, not fully mature enough to necessarily be handling what I was handling.
Yeah. But then Iris comes. You get pregnant with Iris, and Iris comes in the picture, and we both got to grow up really fast. And like, even with like when she was born, like we were just talking about the other day, like I was gung ho about everything. Like, did you even get a change of diaper in that first day?
Yeah, I don't think so. And like, yeah, that's something that I had put in the back of my head until something in a conversation sparked about it, that as soon as she was born, you were over the moon elevated that she was here, and you wanted a little girl. You were so happy to be having a little baby girl. And that first day in the hospital after she was born, of course, it was the first grandchild on your side. So like everybody was at the hospital. And this is before COVID times where like anybody could just show up to the hospital and visit. And so anyways, aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, grandparents, everybody was there. And so in between feeding her as a young new mom trying to breastfeed, covering up, and then next person she's passed off to, and then you're, oh, let me change her, let me do this, let me do that. And literally the only time that I got to hold her was to feed her, and then she was being passed around. So I was already having a little bit of emotion about that. And I think it had to have been the second or third day. I finally said something to you. I was like, hey, like, I appreciate all your help, but can I do something? Can I change her diaper? Because I'm feeling like you're overtaking that, and that like sparked something in you. It triggered you, made you upset, and then
I just shut down.
Yeah, you shut down and went away from it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah, I definitely did shut down. And it kind of, I feel like I kind of started snapping back into it, but then I was like, I was made to feel like, not by you, not by Maddie by any means, but I was made to feel like I didn't know what I was doing and I couldn't do it. All right, we're going to pause this real quick. We got to go take care of kids real fast. All right, sorry about that, guys. I guess it was only, 2 seconds for you, but parenthood,
Just stops you in your tracks sometimes.
But yeah, like we were saying, I shut down completely, and then also like I feel like other people kind of made me feel like I wasn't capable of doing parenthood.
Or maybe that was your perception of what the reaction you got from other people.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know, you kind of got that vibe too, and
Well, yeah, yeah.
I feel like if we both felt it, then there's probably some truth behind it, you know?
Right. I definitely think there's an extent. Yeah.
But yeah, fast forward, add Violet, and if that didn't test our relationship, I don't know what did. Um, if you listen to my second podcast, we had a daughter that passed away at 3 weeks old. But yeah.
So yeah, we had Iris in 2016.
Then
And
Violet
then
in
Violet
2018.
2018. Lost Violet in 2018.
Had Ivy 2020.
And then the boys in 2022.
And then
A lot of life was lived in that short period of time.
yeah.
There's a lot of ups and downs, and even you take away the mental load of all of that, life happens, and circumstances out of anyone's control happens. And there was job bouncing, there was career changes,
a lot of job bouncing.
yeah. And
I feel like after, Violet's when I started getting my shit together more, though, like career wise. Kind of, that's when I was able to, I don't know, that's when I was working a different job, trying to get a career instead of just a job. And it worked out. Like,
it
got a
did
really
work
good
out.
career now, so. And
Made a couple moves
made a
in
couple kids.
in that time frame. There was a lot, and I definitely think like when we moved away from our hometown, I think the stability, which of course maturity and things like that, like it all kind of happened simultaneously. Um but yeah, we grew and we matured in that time frame, and once we moved to where we're at now, like I think a lot of stability came with that, and recreating ourselves from
Oh, for sure.
from our childhood into teenage years. And like it almost felt like when we made that great big move that like I was able to reinvent myself. And
I feel like that's when a lot of stuff, like that's when we grew up. We didn't have that safety net of, okay, well, something's going on. Boom, parents are right there. Like literally, my parents were a mile away. Your parents were 10 miles away.
right, we just had to figure it out, even though family was still, I mean, they're close enough that you can get there in an hour and a half, but also far enough away that in the day-to-day lives there was no counting on anyone but you and I.
Exactly. And I feel like we very much grew in a relationship. And I feel like there was definitely ups and downs and whatnot, but like
We had a good streak there for a while though, where I was like, everything was going so well that I was anxious because I'm like, hey, when's the next thing gonna drop? Because I'm like,
2025 was the next thing that was gonna drop. That year kicked our ass, but
yeah.
like I mean, I definitely was the cause of it, but yeah, definitely 2025, which 2025 is a blur. I There's a lot I don't remember of 2025.
I think it slowly crept up on us. Like there were so many little things that it just added and added and added to the pile that like it spun so out of control. I didn't even know where it came from.
Well, I was drinking so much, and I didn't think I was an alcoholic, and I don't think you thought like
Well, yeah,
you.
I feel like alcohol has been so present in my life from every aspect that like I didn't really think about it. I knew that like, hey, there would be so many times that like, okay, I know that if we're going to these certain places or if we're gonna be around these certain people, the Zach's gonna drink, and I had to be
Which drinking's not bad as long as you can control yourself. And mine was not. I was not in control of it. It
well,
was in control of me.
right, but without even understanding the weight of it. Like I was always planning, like, okay, like I have to prepare myself that I'm gonna have to be the one to drive home, or I'm gonna have to make sure the kids are taken care of because I'm not gonna be able to rely on anyone else to be able to do that. And I've got to be the sober one, and I've got to be the one that has it under control,
Yeah.
you know? And but it's not the alcohol was the problem. It's just, oh well, this day, and then like,
I feel like even like today, alcohol was a problem. I don't think it was the problem.
well,
You
right.
know,
I agree. It definitely it added fuel to the fire.
and with bipolar disorder, alcohol is a very big no because it can very easily throw you into mania. And I was drinking so much. And yeah, it just got out of control. And that's also in 2025, that's when, you know, we knew something was wrong and we thought it was ADHD. So
Yeah,
I got put on stimulants, and come to find out that is a very, very big no without a mood stabilizer or an antipsychotic to go on a stimulant while bipolar. But I didn't know I was bipolar.
that reminds me, like, I was staying at home with the boys, and I was, I don't know how to even describe it. I don't structure myself very well with schedules, and so being at home, it was harder on me mentally. But I remember like we would be fine throughout the day, but I knew as soon as you got home that like things were going to be chaotic, things were going to be wild, and
Mm-hmm.
like I was anticipating that. And so like I brought it up to you. I was like, "Hey, your ADHD is getting out of control. You need to like maybe you need to go see a doctor or something." Which that's what kind of triggered the getting medicated for ADHD.
And then it was like, it didn't get any better. It just, what happened is the same thing, but I was a lot more energetic,
Right.
you
It
know?
it just got worse. And yeah, so I was like, "Oh my goodness, like I couldn't even tell you, like there was no words to describe the chaos that we were living in. Like I couldn't even pinpoint one thing of why I felt it was so chaotic other than I could just feel it."
That word is mania. Hindsight 2020, right?
Well,
But
right. And then I kept like, I don't know. I felt like the more I said, "Hey, what's going on?" or "Hey, like are you okay?" the more it agitated you. So then I learned to
because nothing's wrong with me, Maddie. Remember? There was nothing wrong with me. Everybody else was the problem.
right.
Nothing was wrong with me.
And so I
Which is
I
so like crazy that I thought like, now that I'm like regulated and I'm medicated and I'm on that linear path rather than up down up down up down. Like it makes no sense that I like thought like that. But like in that time, I fully believed there was nothing wrong with me.
well
I
then
thought you were the problem. I thought the kids were the problem. I thought family was the problem. Well,
I was so convinced that I was the problem that I had
I was
to
convinced you were the problem too.
I had to disassociate to just exist because like nothing I did was right, and I eventually learned to not ask you, to not question you, to just go with whatever you said, because anything different would cause you distress or get even more agitated. And like I was doing my very best to limit your agitation.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so it just eventually got to a point that I was convinced like, okay, like everything you're doing is wrong and you're just causing more problems, till it got to the point that even when I was minimizing and doing everything to please you, then it didn't matter. Everything was just complete utter.
And it definitely, like, it wasn't anything you were doing. Like, you weren't doing anything wrong. Like, it definitely was a me issue. But I didn't know that at that time, you know?
Right. So then, do we kind of want to get into October when things really...
Yeah, I would say so. Like, so Maddie started nerding out over this guy, Cameron Whitcomb, a singer. And I just happened to see, not all my manic moments are bad, right? So I happened to see
It's been
that
a
he was going to
benefit
be
to me a time or two.
I happened to see that he was in concert, and so like I ask, like, I don't know if I even asked you, but like I bought, like, did I ask you?
You didn't ask me. You just bought them.
And I
And
said,
then,
hey, we're going to Denver in a couple months.
yeah,
And
you're like, we'll go for my birthday. And then, then you convinced me, oh, well, it's kind of for both our birthdays. It'll be right in the, that time of year. Like, we'll just go get away and have a kid-free weekend.
and like we had, like, it started off fun. Like, we went to that concert, and that was a good time. We both drank some shitty beer,
Oh, it's terrible.
but
it did the trick.
it did the job. And like we went out that first night, and it was fine. We had a lot of fun. Then, was it the second night that we went to the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we only stayed 2 nights. Yeah, we stayed that first night, then that second night, then we came home that third day.
Yeah.
And so I had this idea of what I wanted to happen in my head. And I wanted to go to the bar and I wanted to drink, and of course, like, I'm full blown mania at that point. We didn't know it, but I was. And like, so I'm staying up till 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and then it was like, what, midnight, and you're like, okay, it's time to go back, and it pissed me off. Like, I was mad.
Because we were at a club.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave the club.
But I was feeling very uncomfortable and very out of place. And I hung on as long as I possibly could so that you could
and it was
enjoy
irrational,
yourself.
like, because you told me, like, the reason why, and then it's not like, and you even, like, we could go back to the Airbnb and drink and stuff, but I was just so mad. And it was very irrational, and then the next day, I continued to stay mad, and I stayed mad for a while. Then, like, my birthday came around, the 18th, and I wanted to do something, like, on my actual birthday, or have, like, a little birthday party with family. And, like, my parents went and hung out with my sister on my birthday. And I wasn't invited, and, like, so that really pushed me over. And then we thought about doing something, but everybody was busy, and it just really upset me, irrationally upset me. And that kind of triggered something. And, like, of course, like, I felt like everybody was against me, and they were doing that in spite of me.
Yeah, and I tried so hard to understand, and I was like, okay, well, I don't understand why you're so upset. We went to a concert. We got to spend some time in Colorado together. Like, I thought that was celebrating your
Like,
birthday.
we went on a brewery tour, and we did a lot of fun things.
Yeah, like, it was such a great trip, and you're like, oh, but none of it was for me, and like,
Yeah.
And
it
I
was
I
definitely
was
not great.
I
Like my
was
reaction to everything, because it was a fun trip. We went on a brewery tour. We walked around. We accidentally climbed a mountain in our minivan.
yeah. But yeah, I was so confused because like on our journey, on our trip, like I thought we were having such a great time, and then it got to the point like I was convinced that like you had the absolute worst time, and I
I
like
had a lot of fun. It was just I got caught up on a few little things, and like I think it was just a buildup of, or not even. I don't know what it was, Maddie. If I'm being honest, other than like I was not in the right headspace,
right, and that makes sense.
and so October happens, and then it just continues to go that kind of route all the way down, and then
And it went from drinking beers to help yourself fall asleep to
pounding bourbon.
yeah, just bottles and bottles of
I was
whiskey.
drinking half to three quarters of a bottle a night. And that was just to go to sleep. And I was taking handfuls of Benadryl just to try to go to sleep. And I would stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning, and then maybe get an hour or two of sleep, and then wake up just wide eyed, ready to tackle the world. Like I was running on an hour or two of sleep every day, and like it's like it didn't even bother me. Like I was wide awake. You probably like,
Oh, I knew it bothered you.
well, no, but the thing is, like, to have my kind of energy, like, it was wild.
Right.
And that's what we call mania, folks.
Then it got to a point though like you didn't want to be alone and staying up all night. And
I wanted to fight.
I'm a sleepy girl. I like my sleep. And you got to the point of no, hey, yeah, you would pick fights. You like, hey, we're gonna hash this out right now at midnight. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna work this out.
Oh, I ended up keeping you up all night.
Right. And like I couldn't ever figure out why we were having the same fight over and over again, why we couldn't get to a resolution of whatever was bothering you, and none of it ever actually made sense. Like obviously you had feelings and you were upset and says, "Okay, I'm trying to understand your feelings." But then it got to a point of just nothing but run in over and over again. You're repeating the same things over and over again. But I'm like, okay, I'm sorry that I upset you.
See,
Like
and
I was never intending to do whatever I did.
I honestly don't remember what the fights were about.
Right, and
That,
it seemed like they were such minuscule
like, I don't recall
things.
any of that. Like,
I couldn't even pinpoint one thing right now that
and
you
that's
were
also
upset
like,
about.
I feel like that's when my mania kind of started to move into psychosis. Because,
Right?
like you said, by the end of it, like, I was not making any sense. Like, I was bouncing from one thing to another, and I was talking about this, then this, then this, and this, and this, and
Well,
like,
yeah, like there was one night you were like, "Well, do you know whose birthday it is? Do you know who I talked to about this?" And I'm like, "I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about." It was like you started in the middle of a sentence and then bounced to the middle of another sentence, and
and
I
that was
was
that was
so
before,
lost.
like I don't think I was like obliterated at that point, was I, or was I pretty well
I'm
intoxicated?
it took you like an hour. Like from the time that I got home from work, put kids in bed, and like everyone was in bed by 8 o'clock. Next thing I know, you're starting to get intoxicated. Like your words are starting to slur at that point. By the time I got 6 o'clock home to 8:30, got all the kids in bed while you were doing who knows what, and then I'd come back around to
I
you and
was
be
probably
like,
just sitting at my
hey,
desk drinking.
yeah, and then I'd try to talk to you, or even got to a point of not talking to you. You'd come up to me and start something. You were intoxicated. Like it did not take very long. But then even though you started slurring your words, you were still continuing to drink until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And then by that point, like you had to have been gone. Like
Yeah.
I don't it doesn't make any sense that you weren't not gone. But there was no.
Well, it's weird though, because like you've known me gone and intoxicated. Like, was that was I normally like that, or was that something different? Was there something
No,
like some additives to it?
like I knew you had been upset. I knew you had been irritated, and I knew that like I knew things were bothering you. But anytime I would try to talk to you beforehand, like every day at the start of every single day, it's like a switch was flipped off. Nothing happened the night before. Everything was fine. And then slowly as the day gone on, like I would still be living the night before and I would be irritated. I would be upset. I wouldn't want to talk to you. But you're like, "Oh, everything's fine. I love you." blah blah blah. But like I wasn't just getting over it. So then by the time I got home, you're like,
Well, the problem is I couldn't fucking remember it.
well,
I couldn't remember the arguments.
That makes a lot of sense. But then I'm like, I was so like I got to the point of like I couldn't handle what was happening and I had to shut my brain off because I couldn't make sense of it at all.
Well,
I was living in a flight or fight response mode because nothing I did, none of it made any sense. It was just pure insanity.
Well, and that leads to December 19th.
So, yeah.
And that's when that was after a big blow up. And like, I was definitely being toxic that next day over text messages, like grumpy and whatnot. And then like, you just kind of played it along with it just so I didn't blow up or whatnot.
I got to a point that I was terrified. Not only were you going on these drunken rambling things, but
Well, that's when you walked upstairs and I was loading my gun and was not about life anymore.
I
wasn't like, okay, I better preface this, like I wasn't going to harm anybody but myself. Like that wasn't
right. So
like you weren't worried that I was going to harm like you guys physically, were you? Like
no.
It was more.
And I guess like I'm tiptoeing nervous about exactly what we're expressing here. But I mean, since you already like made mention of that, like you're looking at me all concerned.
No, I'm just curious.
How truthful are we being here today? How open booking are we at?
I don't know. Like I felt like we were being pretty honest. But like, are you talking about like the suicide thing?
Well, I'm okay. So like, I guess what I'm trying to say here is like, I got to the point of being terrified. So we'd stay up super late. It'd be 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would finally just like have enough because I was physically and mentally drained from it all. There was you started saying things like, well, I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to be better off if I don't exist. And like that pissed me off. That made me so angry because I couldn't understand why you didn't realize how needed you were, how wanted you were. You have 4 children that mean so much to you. You mean so much to them. Yeah. And I could not grasp why you'd be saying that.
Well there's a reason like 30% of people with bipolar end up committing suicide. And I don't know what the attempting is, but I'm sure it's probably quite a bit higher. But like,
right. Well, I was trying so hard to convince myself, oh, he's just saying that because he wants to spark something in me. He wants to get a reaction out of me that he hasn't gotten yet.
No, I fully believed it.
And so there was a night that I was like, I'm going to bed. You can be up here in your drunken rambling self. Like I've had enough. I cannot take it any longer.
I don't know what made you go upstairs.
You threw something. And I went downstairs. I covered my head with a blanket. I was like, he's just being an asshole. And like, Like, he's not going to do anything. Why would he do something? Like, that's not rational. So, like, I just kept telling, like, and I was shaking. Like, my whole body was trembling because I was, like, the adrenaline rush that was going through my body from how you were behaving. But I was like, I just need to go to bed. I need, like, because I'm clearly not helping him. I'm not making the situation any better. I'm going to bed. You ended up, I don't know if you threw a shoe or something. There was a loud bang.
I probably kicked my shoes off or something.
I don't know. Something hit something. And in my panic state that I was in, I thought a gun had gone off. Like, that's just like where my brain was at. So I'm like, I panicked and I shot up out of bed really quick and I ran upstairs. And I got up there and you were sitting on the couch and I was like, what the hell are you doing? And I can't remember what your response was. And you're like, why? Were you scared? And I was like, well, yeah, I was kind of scared, actually. I was like, you're acting like a jackass and you just need to come to bed. So I finally convinced you to just come to bed. And everything was fine. Well, then you were like, well, who are you talking to? What's on your phone? And like, I told you, like, I threatened a couple times. It's like, well, I'm going to call police. I'm going to call 911 if you're going to keep acting like this. And you're like, you're not calling anyone, blah, 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 blah. And like, and you're going to regret it if you call. And so like, I didn't ever type anything into my phone, but I kept threatening it to you, thinking maybe that would get you to stop. But then you ended up grabbing my phone from me, and which at that point, that reminds me, I was recording you. So that my whole plan was like, okay, if he does something stupid, it's going to be on my phone. There's going to be proof there. If he, maybe I can show him the next morning to get him to realize that, hey, like, this is how intoxicated you were and how crazy you were being. Like, this is a problem. Well, anyways, you ended up taking my phone from me. And I immediately went into fight mode. So
was that when you tackled me?
Yeah. you grabbed my phone and you slid it underneath of you. And so I rammed my whole body into you and you flipped off the bed because I was trying to get my phone back from you. And that's when you went upstairs and you grabbed your gun. And like, I laid there for a few minutes and I was like, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything. And then you ended up sitting at the top of the stairs.
No, I was sitting on the couch.
No, because you passed out at the top of the stairs. But it must have been a different night that you had the gun on the couch.
It was a different night because I didn't grab my gun that night. The night that I had the gun was, we were fighting.
You were messing with it.
That was on the couch. Yeah, there was only one night with my gun.
Well, it was back-to-back nights, whatever nights.
That was a night. That was the night before.
Okay, so you ended up passing out at the top of the stairs that night that I tackled you to get my phone back, and then the next night you ended up on the couch with it.
Yes, and you walked up and you said, "Are you kidding me?"
I did.
And like, turned around and stormed off. Which, that worked because I put that up and I was like, what? And I was trying to figure out what you saw.
Well, and yeah, I think at that point too, I was convinced, okay, if he's going to do it, he's going to do it and I can't stop him. I can either get in between him and the gun and he get me, or he's going to do what he's going to do anyway. And I was completely out of control at that point.
And once again, like, the only person I was going to harm was myself. Which would have harmed you guys by seeing it, but I didn't see a point to life anymore at that point in time. I felt like everybody was against me. I felt like I would be better off, or everybody would be better off if I wasn't here. Which I'm completely wrong about. Like, and then would be like a week or two is like that's when you ended up taking the kids and going to your parents' house, and
Well,
like have the police there to get all my stuff,
that
all your stuff out.
that next day I took all your bullets.
Yeah.
Because when you actually had out the gun, I was like, okay, next time there's not going to be a next time to stop this. And so I grabbed, like, I knew that you'd flip out if I took the guns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew that, like, there was no hiding it. I didn't know where to put them. So I'm like, okay, he can have his guns all he wants, but if I take away the ammo, nobody's going to get hurt. Nothing's going to happen if I do that. So then I took it, but then as the day grew on, I started panicking. I'm like, okay, he's gonna flip out because I took that away from him, and he's gonna wonder where it's at, and I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna be able to be like, okay, you can't have it no matter what. Like, I'd eventually cave in and give it back to you because you would have said something that made me feel like a terrible person, and I would have like let you convince me that I needed to give it back. And so I started calling people for help. I said, hey, I'm in this situation. I freaking called the suicide hotline to be like, hey, like, this is the situation that's going on. I don't necessarily know what to do. This is what I did do. And I got met with, well, unless he's calling for himself, there's nothing that we can do. So, yeah, I was trying to call everyone that I possibly could to get help. And because you're normally the person that I call for help, but I couldn't reach you for whatever reason. And so I ended up calling your parents, and I was like, hey, like, I don't necessarily know what's going on, but it's been a rough few weeks, couple months, and things are just escalating to a point that I'm scared. I don't know what else to do. I've tried handling this on my own. Like, I need you to come here. And so your parents did. They dropped everything, and they came over, and when you got home from work, I think is when they were there and we met. Or no, I came home and I said, hey, your parents are about to be here, like, just to prepare you. And you were so mad. You're like, why
Yeah,
why are they coming to our house?
I was not impressed by that.
And so, we sat on the couch and, like, we were trying everything. I was trying everything to convince you that, hey, I don't know what's going on, but there's people who love and care about you. Like, maybe it's the drinking. And that was, like, the only thing that I could grasp at that point was that, hey, like, you've been drinking a lot mixed with medication for your ADHD. Like, we need to slow it down a little bit because you're not okay. And it made me so mad because you were like, everything's fine. What are you talking about? Like, I don't know why everybody's here. I don't know why you're making a big deal out of this. And it made me feel crazy that, like, I was blowing things out of proportion. Because, like, you seemed so fine. Like, everything was fine. And you, like, were so set on, like, oh, Maddie's just making a big deal out of this. But then you're like, well, can I just have these 1 or 2 beers to help me fall asleep?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess. Like, what was I supposed to do? Tell you no? Like, and of course I rolled my eyes.
I don't think it would have mattered if you told me no.
Right. Like, it didn't matter. I rolled my eyes a little bit, but I was like, okay, if you think you need to have 1 or 2 beers to fall asleep. And, like, that night, everything had, like, simmered down a little bit. And you had 2, 3, 4 beers. But it wasn't, like, an excessive, like, it had been.
That was barely drinking to my standards of how I was.
Right. And then I think it was the day after that you did you write a note or something? Like, I don't know. It spiked up again. Like,
no, I had the note because I remember when you got home, I was burning it in the backyard.
That night with your parents, or like the few nights after?
The night with my parents.
Okay. Well, I can't remember exactly what it was, But you had brought the desk upstairs into the corner of the living room, and I had got home from work, so you started drinking, and I was irritated that you were sitting at your desk, had a bottle of, I can't even remember what it was. But you're just sitting there and you're like, I want to hang out at my desk, and you're like, Maddie, come sit with me and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I've got kids to get ready for bed. Like, I don't have time to just sit there and exist with you. And so once again, by the time that I had taken care of kids, got everyone ready for bed, you were sitting at the desk bawling your eyes out and then rambling about this, that, and the other, and the night that it was. And I was like, okay. I was trying my hardest to be empathetic towards you.
That was the 18th, or no, that was the 18th.
Yeah, that had to have been the 18th. And I was like, what can I do to help you? Like, I'm here for you. I care about you. I love you. What do you want me to do? And you're like, just be here with me. And I was like, I'm sitting right here. So I ended up, like, I didn't even pull up a chair because there wasn't, like, between the walkway and, like, the walkway of the couch and where your desk was sitting, like, there was no room to pull up a chair. So I sat down on the ground beside you, and I was like, I was rubbing your leg, I was rubbing your feet, and, like, I did that. It had to have been for an hour, maybe 45 minutes.
The crazy thing is, like, you're telling me all this stuff, and, like, I feel like I'm kind of like, one of the listeners, because, like, a lot of this is new to me. Like, I don't remember a lot of this. Like, it almost feels like I'm listening to somebody else's story that, like, I wasn't the person involved in it.
Right. Yeah, I rubbed your leg, and, like, I didn't say anything because what was I supposed to say? I didn't know what to say. I just knew that you were upset and that
Well, what would you say? You didn't know what was wrong.
Right.
I don't think I probably knew what was wrong.
And so, yeah, for 45 minutes to an hour, I sat there and you know, you want affection. You want to be touched. And, like, I'm the type of person that could sit alone in my own bubble forever. But I did it. I rubbed your leg. And then, I don't know, it had to have been 10:30, something like that. And I was like, hey, let's go to bed. I think you need to get some sleep and you'll feel better in the morning. And you're like, no, you can just leave me and go to bed. And just, like, then you got real mean and just leave like everybody else does. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm tired. I've had a long day. I love you. I think you need to go to bed, but obviously you're a grown adult. Like, I can't make you go to bed. And you that was the night you made margaritas too. Do you remember that?
No, that was before.
No, you had some margaritas.
Oh, maybe.
But anyways, like, point being is I went downstairs to go to bed because you refused to go to bed. And all of a sudden you started texting me. Oh, well, so much for you being a wife. You don't even care about me and this, that, and the other. Basically how I abandoned you upstairs. And then you start calling me. And I kept ending and declining your call because I'm like, there's no talking to him about this. I just kept declining. Well, then you got up and you yelled downstairs saying, answer your phone. So I went upstairs because you wouldn't quit calling. And I'm like, come on, just go to bed. And you, like, lifted up your glass to take another drink. And I don't know what overtook me. But I just started seeing red. I was mad. I was angry. So I smacked the glass out of your hand. And it shattered all over the desk.
No, you took it out of my hand.
Oh, I did. I threw it.
You threw it.
You're right. I did. I
there
grabbed
definitely
it.
Was a little shard that punctured my skin.
And you just looked at me bewildered. And I think like that was the reaction I wanted to get out of you though. Was that no matter what I said, you weren't listening to me. And I was like, well, if I out of anger, if I can just and you looked at me like I was the craziest person on the in the world. And then I immediately just started sobbing because I knew that that reaction, that response, my own actions were not appropriate. I knew that that I had messed up. I had made a big mistake. Now there's shattered glass everywhere. I was going to have to clean it up before morning because, nobody needed to accidentally step in it. Nobody needed to go over to the desk and get poked by it. And then you're just like, Maddie, you did this. Why are you cleaning it up? Why are you messing with it? Just deal with it tomorrow. And I was like, no, I can't. I can't just leave this mess. I have to clean it up. And so you walked away and you went to bed. And so I continued cleaning up my mess.
So that wouldn't have been the 18th.
No, I think it was the 18th. Because the next morning, I was so angry. And I knew that the interaction that was going on between us was, like, it needed to stop. Because it was going to continue to progress.
Maybe it was. Because, like I said, I was a passenger in that. Because
I think it was the 18th. Because then the next day you were acting like nothing happened, and I was playing along with it. You're like, "Is everything okay?"
I was making supper, so we would talk all day, and I said, "Hey, you know what sounds good? Chili." And you're like, "No, somebody else is gonna be making chili. Let's do something else." So I cooked one of my favorite meals. Like those KFC chicken bowls with the mashed potatoes, the gravy, the popcorn chicken, and the corn, and I just got supper done, and you walked in. I said, "Hey, you're here late." Just like being nice and normal, and then you didn't say anything. You just said, "Hey, kids," or "Hey, Iris, get your stuff around. We're leaving." And I still swear I did not say anything to Iris. I just told her bye because you guys were walking out, leaving, and she didn't have a good reaction to that.
Well, yeah, she didn't know what was happening. She was scared and confused.
So, cops there, Maddie's brother's there, and your parents are there and getting all your stuff loaded up. And after you guys were gone, because I didn't drink at that point, because my sober date's the 19th, December 19th. So I didn't drink that day. And like after that, like I knew something was up. I was like, okay, this isn't just a small thing. This is big. So I gathered all my alcohol except for one bottle and dumped them all out down the drain. But that one bottle, it's like, hey, I'm gonna save this. This is like, like a $200 bottle of bourbon. I'm not gonna dump this out. I'm gonna give it to somebody. And I go and sit down. Then I stand right back up, walk over, grab it, and dump it straight down the drain. Because I was like, if I don't do that, I'm gonna get sad. I'm gonna get upset, and I'm gonna go drink it. And then I got so antsy and like thinking about everything. And it's like, okay, I need to get out of the house. And I went and grabbed a cigar, and I got in the pickup, and I drove out to the lake, smoking a cigar, and drove around the lake. Then came back home, and then I took some Benadryl and like fell asleep. Then the next day, I didn't know what was going on, so I was like, okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the courthouse. I'm gonna get some parent things to where we have 50-50 custody until things get settled. That way, I'm able to see the kids. I think you took that as I'm going to try to take the kids from you.
Well,
Because I definitely wasn't trying to take the kids. I just wanted to be able to see them.
I once we left, we went back to my parents' house, slept for a little bit, got up, turned around, came back home so that I can get the kids to school. And I had to go to the gas station to fill up with gas, and you showed up. And I panicked because I'm like,
Well,
oh
which is,
no.
that's like right as the time I leave for work when you were there.
Well, right, but I was there first, and you pulled up right in next to us. And you're like, hey, I just need to talk to the kids. And I was like, I don't know what kind of crazy stuff you're doing. So like I was super shaken up about it. But I took the kids to school, daycare, and then I went to work. And you were texting me and you're like, I'm filing. I'm filing because you're not keeping my kids away from me. And I did take that as a threat. The way that it was said.
I was just trying to get it to where I could see the kids.
Yeah, but also to tell me that,
Yeah.
it had to have been a form of
Maybe
a
a
threat.
little bit of a. Because I did say in the state of Kansas, like, it isn't just strictly, okay, the mother gets the stuff. Like,
Right. But and it was never about keeping the kids away from you. It was the I cannot live with myself knowing that he is not in a stable position that I can't have the kids without me there.
well, which that, trying to get stuff in set turned out to be my downfall where I couldn't see the kids. And that's when you got put a PFA on me, which I didn't know about until. So this goes on and on and on. And then I go home, I build a coat rack. And next thing I know, there was a knock at my door, and it was the cops. Like, oh boy, what is it now? Thinking it was like maybe like divorce papers or something like that. And then I looked and I was like, what is this? He's like, a PFA. I was like, what's that? He's like, a protection from abuse. I said, okay. So I just can't talk to her. He's like, yeah, you can't talk to the kids either, and you have to leave the house. I was like, shit. Okay. Then I look at the date of the court appearance, and it's after Christmas. And I just started having a mental breakdown there because I knew, like, with that there, I wouldn't be able to see the kids on Christmas. And I wouldn't get to see you on Christmas. And that's when I called my parents and, like, hey, I got to go stay with you guys. And then, of course, all that went down. Oh, don't really want to get into that.
Right. And
but like,
my point of view on that snippet there too was I I didn't fully think everything through. I didn't feel like I had time to take into consideration everything. Like I was not taking everything into consideration. It was a bad things have been happening. There is no rhyme or reason to what is happening other than I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe leaving my children. You were not okay and you needed to get help, and I didn't know what to do other than the contact that I had with people outside of the situation of saying, "Hey, like what do I need to do? I I cannot be in the same house as him any longer. Like it's going to be nothing but bad news." And so PFA was brought up. So I was like, okay, he said he was going to file papers. Like, I need to get into the courthouse as soon as possible to get this filed before he does, because who knows what he's going to file, what he's going to say. Like, I need to get this done. And so without even fully reading all the fine print, like, I knew, like, I didn't think that you weren't going to be able to talk to the kids. Like, I did not have that whole, I didn't know. I didn't have that information. And I wasn't trying to prevent from being able to speak with you other than like we couldn't be around each other because I knew you were going to try to sway me, convince me, and I'm very easily swayed and convinced. And so I knew that I had to put space between us.
Which ended up being exactly like
Right. It all worked
it
out.
ended up being like, oh, we're still working on the all working out. There's still
There's a few kinks to work
yeah,
out.
there's a few kinks to work out. But then like so after that,
I was, just for the information there though too, like I was completely heartbroken when it sank in that you weren't going to be there for Christmas. Like I that wasn't even a thought or consideration until it was probably the 20th, 21st before I was like, "Oh." Like I didn't fully get the weight of everything that had taken place until that moment.
yeah, that wasn't a very fun Christmas. I definitely so okay, that I'm jumping ahead of myself. But so I went to my parents' house and kind of a little bit of cool stories, like some cool stuff happened, like in a weird kind of cool, not cool way type thing. But like,
Funny, not funny.
yeah, with this is exactly what I needed, which is hard to say. And I'm sure probably some people are thinking, like, huh? But it really is because I dumped out my alcohol and I was like, man, I need to get my shit together. And then the next day, that PFA was dropped. I was like, oh, fuck. I really got to get my shit together. And yeah, that's when I was like, okay, well, I can either sit here and be upset or I can actually do something and try to become a better person for my family, for myself, and for everyone around me. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go to AA and I'm just going to sit there. Well, I tried to go that evening to the 7 o'clock meeting, but the front door was closed. And you know how there's that front door, then the room, then there's another door, then it's the AA room. So I knocked on the front door and nobody answered, and I didn't know if I could just walk in, you know. So I ended up leaving, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the 11 o'clock Sunday meeting, which just happens to be the biggest meeting that there is. So I go, I go, yeah, I go there. And it's a table completely full of people, and like I don't talk about my problems very well. And like well, you can attest to this, right? Like I'm bad about talking about my problems, and like something in that room just got me, man. Like I was a blubbering mess. I don't even know if they understood what I was saying, if I'm being honest. But like I let it all out, and like at that point, like, okay, so you wouldn't give me a hug before you left, rightfully so. And so like
I believe I said, I'm not talking to you right now.
yeah. And after all that stuff, and I all the nitty gritty and all the bad things I did and all that stuff, like there was a group of people and they all asked me if I wanted a hug. And like I was like, man, these are some good people. And then you hear stories and it's like they're good people now. Like that's possible. You can change yourself. Then after that, I'm like, okay, you know, and around AA has like a religious undertone to it. So okay, maybe I should go pick up a Bible and do some reading. Not even just thinking it through. So I go pick up a Bible. Then I go to Nana's house and she's like, so I've been thinking about you and I got this as a gift and I think you need it and I want you to have it. And it was that little prayer jar. I can't remember what verse I pulled out. I wish I remembered, but like it was
It's the thing you needed to hear.
It was yeah, and like it was my little God drop, you know. I learned that in AA too. That evening, but like it's like, man, there is a God, like, and I didn't believe for so long, and it's like I don't know, things started clicking, and I was like, I'm gonna make a doctor's appointment, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. Before my doctor's appointment though, like I was going through full-fledged withdrawal. Like I wound up in the ER. Like I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was dying. And it was anxiety mixed with withdrawal. And yeah, that was, and then so I get some medicine there, then I make it to my doctor's appointment and start therapy. Now I'm seeing a psychiatrist, and that's when I got, you went with me, didn't you?
To your first psychiatrist
Yeah.
or mental health. I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly
because I
what
was joking with you. I said, I
but-
aced that test.
Get all these papers, fill out
Did
the
you know what that
paperwork.
test was for?
I knew what that test was for.
And I looked at her, it was the bipolar test. I said, hey, I aced that test. And she's like, yeah.
Filled out all the questions. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, look, I got them all right. Yep, you sure did, Zach.
And that's why I got diagnosed bipolar 1. What were you feeling in that moment, like when I got diagnosed? Because I feel like you kind of knew something was up, but you weren't. You had an idea, but you didn't know for sure.
I won't even pretend to have all the knowledge now. I don't have the words nor the knowledge to really know. But I had an inkling that, what little I knew about bipolar or what I've heard about bipolar, like, I've questioned it. I questioned it 10 years ago.
Yeah, but like, how was your like, what did you feel when she said that, okay, yeah, you are bipolar 1?
It was an answer. It was oh, hey, like 1 + 1 = 2. Like it's adding up. There is a rhyme or reason to your behaviors and your actions, and it's like, oh. So it wasn't like it wasn't like an internal battle or anything.
This was after the PFA got dropped.
We jumped quite ahead a bit.
So what happened is she ended up filing for divorce and then getting temporary orders, which made it able for us to drop the PFA. So this was all after the PFA was dropped that this happened. This was what, a couple months ago? 2-3 months ago?
I'd say 2 months ago.
And yeah, so got diagnosed with bipolar 1. So now I'm in therapy. I'm going to doctor's appointments every 2 weeks. I feel like my medicine regimen is so close. Like, I've not felt this stable. Like, I feel like Zach, which is probably weird to say, but like, I wasn't myself for the longest time. Like, even like you've told me, like, you looked in my eyes and it was not me there. Like,
well, right, like, and when they tell you like bipolar eyes, like, I'm learning more and more about that here recently, and like I said earlier, like, it crept up on us so slowly that like when it was here in full blast, I didn't understand it or where it's coming from, but like I remember looking into your eyes and it was just dark. And I didn't know who you were anymore. It was you, it was your body, it was your voice, but I didn't recognize you.
It's like,
and
my
then
brain, it's like Zach shut off and something else was there.
Right, but so
which
then,
I know, like, I know it was me. I did it. It was definitely all me.
Right. But then, so after, you've been on this journey of getting sober, of getting properly medicated,
You didn't even
of,
recognize me the first time we talked. You said, "This is kind of making me uncomfortable. This isn't you."
yeah, like we had several weeks of being separated. And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, like PFA's dropped. We ended up having our family Christmas in the middle of January.
We
Um,
had Christmas and New Year's.
yeah, together. And like I
Cause
was
you,
I
you,
was still very
you did wait. You did. Santa did bring gifts, but you waited for our joint gifts, like our gifts,
right. I mean,
which was awesome.
it didn't feel right to do that when you weren't here. And then yeah, when you came
I'm
back,
glad
like
you did. I'm glad Santa came though.
yes, I don't know, when we did finally do all that stuff, like I was very leery about it. So like, I was reading the room, I was feeling, you know, just watching you, feeling you, seeing how you were. And then it's like you're a totally different person. Like I don't even recognize this person. And like it's so very confusing because how we escalated to whatever dark version of you that was to oh here now this completely separate peaceful
Zach's
serene
back.
person. And I'm like I it's scary because I was looking at you. You were my person, but I don't know who you are anymore. In either direction. Like it was like so extreme this way, and then all of a sudden we're like, okay, we're calm. We're not manic rambling, or we're
We're
not fidgeting, crawling out of our
we turned
skin.
into manic rambling to sober thoughts, right?
Right. And it was weird, and I still like I think I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, and I'm still trying to figure out who I am because I didn't like. I'm relearning myself, and like this is the first time I've actually been on the correct medication. So like this is more me than I probably have ever been, and I like the new me. I still have my little quirks about me, but I feel like everything's getting better. I feel like my relationship with my children's a lot better. I feel like my relationship with you is a lot better. And I don't know, I feel like things are starting to work out. Um yeah, I feel like we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. And I think nervous systems are finding that it's okay to be at ease and try try to figure it all out. And everything's not life or death right now.
Well, I remember like when we first got back, like I was overanalyzing every text. Like, oh, what does she mean by this? Is she mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Uh-oh, I'm gonna run her off. And then like now I feel like I was walking on eggshells, not because you made me walk on eggshells, but because like I felt like I had to, because I did mess up so bad. And but like now it's like I feel like we're very much normal.
What is normal?
I feel like a new normal, like we can just have that back and forth banter. Like we still have arguments. I'm not gonna lie. Like we definitely still do, but they're not knocked down, drag out, 5 day long arguments, staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Right. And like one of the differences too that I've noticed like in the last 5 4 or 5 months, whatever it's been, I have not laughed true genuine laughter as much as I have in this last short amount of time than I have in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Well, and like this podcast right here, this episode, there's a lot of stuff that's was said that's not good about me. And like I would have gotten very defensive, you know, 6 months ago, you know, and now just a little over 5 months since it happened, getting sober helped a lot. But I really think my medication regimen's helping a lot too. And knowing that I can't have alcohol because that's a big no-no for bipolar. And taking my medicine every single day, all 21 pills every single day. And yeah, I'm very happy where we are, and I'm very happy to see where life takes us, and I'm very happy to do it together. And I felt like for the longest time, after the PFA, that life was over, which it is. That life, I guess, is over.
Right. I
But I
didn't.
feel like a new life is happening, and thankfully that is going to be a life of us still, just a healthier version of us. And like, even like with the paperwork that's been filed, like the divorce and the PFAs and stuff like that, I feel like that was us, like that could be us. That divorce happened, and but we're building a new relationship. Like, it's a very much new relationship, a healthy relationship, a better relationship. You know what I mean?
There was a point that I was like, there's no coming back from this. There was, I mean, it's not like I had never left before. It may have been for a day, it may have been for 2 days, but I always came back, and we'd always get into this endless cycle of whatever toxic nastiness was happening. And who's to know how much of it was bipolar, life circumstances, you name it. And then this time, like, I really thought, like,
You were done.
I was so beyond mentally drained, physically drained. I could not stand being in the same room as you anymore. And now I feel like, I mean, obviously, I can stand being in the same room as you. I also feel like I'm gaining new perspectives of you. Beforehand, it was just like all I could get into my head was that you were this nasty, mean, toxic human being, and
Which I was.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you absolutely were. um, and like, yeah, I hated everything that was going on. I hated this life that that we had built, that I had worked so hard for to hold together, and all this pressure of like making sure that everything was okay all of the time. And like I couldn't do it anymore. And I needed to get away. And I did. And that's fine. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I begged for you to get help or to do something, and like it didn't matter what I said. You weren't doing it. And
It's
but that was the thing that finally.
it's your favorite phrase. Everybody's got their point where they have to do something, and
Right.
where
And like
life becomes unmanageable.
the first few months, like, I could not get past, well, why wasn't I enough? Why wasn't I what did I do differently? Why couldn't it ever work while I was there? Why did it have to break
I had to see you go.
before something happened? And I just felt like everything was so broken. And like now I still feel like I am dealing with a lot, for sure. And I think the embarrassment portion of it was a really hard one to get past. And I can't even say, that I'm not fully past that. But I've gotten better. And
But it went from, you know, you not even wanting to sit with me out in public at like a sport event to we're an hour and a half in on a podcast together that's going to get aired for listeners. I don't know how many, but it's gonna get, so people are gonna listen to it, and I feel like that's a very big step and a very big jump, and like it feels like so long, such a long journey that we've been on like these past couple months, but really it hasn't been.
Right. And I feel like on a daily we're learning, we're growing, we're trying to figure it out as we go. And
It's transitioning to our kids too, like so awesome to see like what we're practicing and what we're trying to do, and they're doing stuff without us teaching them. They're doing it by actions, like Iris, like, okay, that wasn't right of me, I'm sorry, to Ivy.
right, like it's crazy. You don't realize how much of what you say and do affects your kids. Like when you're not talking to them, they're still watching. They're still listening. They're still picking up on those natural habits that you yourself have. That like yeah, even though you're not looking them straight in the eyes and teaching them for them to learn, they're watching your every move and
Yeah.
learning that way. And from the chaos that we were in, I could feel it. I knew that there was so much chaos surrounding us, but I didn't understand why. Like why they were behaving a certain way, or why our whole family unit was such an utter mess. And I just kept
Hi, I'm Zach. I might be the problem.
and but I mean I definitely played a part in it too. I was very reactive, and I'm
I don't
slowly
know how you wouldn't be though.
well,
I
yeah,
feel
but
like you weren't for the longest time, but like
I broke.
everybody has their breaking point, right?
Right. And I mean, yeah, I'm still learning how to get back from that, and I definitely still have my bad days. But yeah, like you said, like we're seeing that change in our kids of how they're reacting and handling life situations, and how they are interacting with each other, and things that you just have to like you'd miss it in a blink, but if you sit there and watch it, like there's change and there's growth there.
And
And
you and I are setting boundaries, and our kids are seeing boundaries being set, and they know when things aren't right, and they'll speak out about it, and it's an adventure. And like as weird as it is to say, like kind of in a weird fucked up way, like a good thing it happened. Like
I think something I've always believed is that everything happens for a reason. The reasoning may not fully make sense, but like
it's starting to make sense.
in ways, yeah. And especially in this situation, like everything happened the way it needed to happen. And even though there's things like in the moment we're
Do
like,
I
no, no,
wish it
no, stop.
do I
What's
wish it
happening?
like do I wish it wouldn't have happened that way? Yes, but it happened that way, and we can either be mad and stay mad that it happened that way, or we can learn from it and like grow grow from it. And I feel like that's what we're doing. We're growing.
Some lessons just have to happen the hard way.
Yep. But
And
yeah,
I still think there are a ton of lessons to be learned. And yeah, how we have to learn to manage everything. Like this is hard. And
life's hard.
anybody can look from the outside in and place their judgment on what's happening.
But
But
we're living our life.
yeah, like
It's our life.
right. And until you live it, I mean, you can't truly know it or understand it. And even then, I think sometimes I have a hard time understanding it, you know?
I do too. Unless like when I look at the bigger picture, like I feel like even like with doing this right here, I have a lot more understanding because there's a lot of stuff I learned about myself in this hour and a half, you know.
Right.
But and I'm excited to learn more, and I am excited to bring the listeners in on this journey, and I really hope that maybe somewhere out there is somebody that is maybe listening to this that might be in a situation that's similar, and there is hope. I mean, obviously there's hope if I have my wife sitting right across the table from me doing a podcast with me at 10 o'clock at night. Man, it's 10 o'clock. We're usually in bed asleep by this point. Like anything's possible and change is possible. You just got to be willing to do it. And maybe if you can, try not to be as stubborn as I was and wait so long. But yeah, do you got anything, Maddie?
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I am proud of you. And I think you've come a long way.
You're going to make me get emotional here.
I'm not trying to make you emotional. I am proud of you. And I have seen the growth and change.
And I'm proud of you too.
As a human being, you do deserve the best out of life. And you do deserve to feel loved and cared for. And to have a healthy, happy life. And I think you're getting there. And I'm so proud of you. And I do love you.
I am. And I'm so proud of you too. I mean, you're standing up for yourself. You're out of your comfort zone with this thing. That's for sure.
Can you tell I don't know what I'm doing?
No, you're doing great. And yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of the kids, like all around, just everything. I'm so happy right now. Like I'm happier than I've been in a long time. And I am going to say it back. I love you too. And I mean, you're my person. And even now, 12 years later, you are still my comfort and still my happy place. And, I still love you. And I'm glad we're doing life together. Wish it was a little bit smoother sometimes, but hey, has it ever been smooth with us?
That's life for you. It'll throw you all sorts of curves no matter what.
But yeah, well, I think that wraps up the episode as I'm stuttering. Thank you very much for coming on in the podcast. I think I would like some more episodes with you. It was kind of cool. I really enjoyed it.
Guess we'll see what reaction we get from this.
There we go. But yep, thank you everybody for listening. This has been another episode of Manic Ramblings and Sober Thoughts. Till next time.